Welcome to Below the 49th, the perspective on my neighbor to the south, below the 49th. I'm Michael A. Charbon. Today's title, America's Wokeism. So, woke is the newest term of transformational social reform. It's defined as a past tense of wake, an awakening, if you wish. It's also characterized as an alert to social and racial injustices in society, past and present. This is where a movement takes a moral stand, demands action, accuses others of hatred and systemic discrimination with a rally cry to stay angry and stay woke. Imagine the power of this ever-evolving American social awareness. An awakening of anger now powered by mass media coverage, influencing a global audience. Be sensitive to everything. You're oppressed, or you are the oppressor. You know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but goodness gracious, please refer to me with my preferred pronoun. But all of the global family does not ascribe to America's wokeism movement. You know, some consider it a toxic import, a movement that for some, particularly in France, are very afraid of. The 1958 Constitution of France is considered indivisible, a secular democratic republic that guarantees citizens, regardless of race or religion, to be treated equally. French politicians and high-profile intellectuals look at the phenomena of wokeism as a foreign contaminant, an unwelcome import of America's leftism, which promotes cancel culture packed with destructive identity politics, which pits them against us. So take the famed Sorbonne. It's a university in Paris, regarded as a prestigious symbol of higher learning. It was founded in the 13th century and part of one of the first universities in the world. The Sorbonne is regarded as a cultural influencer of France, a pillar, right? Last year, they put on a play, which spurred foreign disputes, due to them featuring white actors wearing masks and dark makeup, as dictated by the classic play's origins. Then, academic speakers were refused the opportunity to speak at the university due to student pressure, sensitivity, and objection. You know, some are asking, how is banning classical artistic plays and eliminating alternative voices ever going to advance the discussion and address actual injustices moving forward? It's like removing and defacing historical statues. It does a disservice to history, a disservice to art, and the opportunity to learn from the past for future generations. Notably, many globally have regarded America as a gun-toting, racially divided society symbolically at war with itself. That's a statement. And today, in America's volatile social and political landscape, there are some cities where that is unfortunately on point. With that said, though, there are many cities in America that are wonderful, safe, and welcoming. The American dream, I should say, is still a reality and for many very much alive. But today, for others, that dream is more of a temporary nightmare. Many across the pond have found America's influence, which is perceived as an enemy to the European civilized particular way of life, disturbing. Personally, I think it actually started with ketchup. I mean, really, I lived in Paris, and if you ever asked a Parisian for ketchup at a nice restaurant on the Champs-Elysees, and it was like asking for a match in a dynamite shack. Kaboom! God knows what they put in the ketchup. But I digress. So, do you remember several years back when animal rights groups, they started to pick on France? They exposed the force-feeding of geese to unnaturally enlarge their livers to harvest for pâté de foie gras. To the French, an unspeakable assault on French culture, French food, and a long-standing French tradition. You know, for context here, let's not forget large-scale American-based industrial factory farming plants who churn out poultry, pork, and veal and employ unsavory techniques that are not any less objectionable, not to mention big poop ponds. But somebody picked on France's pâté de foie gras to rally on. Now, this time the fear of many is that the toxic unrest of America's wokeism and civil unrest, amplified by racialized inequities, will spread to Europe. French President Emmanuel Macron stated that U.S. university campuses' woke culture poses an existential threat to France. That's a heck of a statement. Why, consider Columbia University, the fifth oldest university in America, and it's ranked number 3 in the U.S. Pretty prestigious, right? I mean, Warren Buffett graduated from there. They had 6 different and individual graduation ceremonies. 6! To address students' sensitivities based on specific ethnicities, sexualities, and race groups. Like, is this any way to promote harmony, respect, understanding, and celebrating the diversities of the graduating class? You know, having your own little selective graduation just for you and me and people who look like us. I mean, just wait until these precious, sensitive, woke job seekers hit the bricks. Yeah. So, according to the New York Times, progressive American ideas on race, gender, and post-colonialism are undermining French society. Today, mass media and the immediacy of live news deliver pictures that amplify the divide between the European life and life in the US. Pictures that amplify the oppressed and disenfranchised who now take to the streets and demand change. Statements like that, they can ignite talk of revolution. As COVID still remains a devastating global plague, countries are in massive debt. More people will lose what they save, become unemployed, get more in debt, and experience fierce financial difficulties for years to come, as valuable tourism dollars are still a long, long way away. Never mind the fact that even before the pandemic, Greece, Italy, France, and a whole bunch of others were already teetering on insolvency in the Euro ditch of debt. So when you have a populace who is unhappy, scared, and vulnerable, then encourage them to demonstrate, you got a recipe for problems and unrest. So if you're tired of being told what you can't say, what you can't read, what you can't post, what you can't call an army base, and what you can't eat, and that you and your ancestors are systemically guilty, better think about being a little French, you know, and establish your own style of wokeism. And have a little pâté. Why not? Finally, please click and share. If you do, kindly subscribe. If you leave a comment, I try to answer everyone. I thank you for those considerations, and until next time, God bless, and please stay safe. I'm Michael A. Charbon for Below the 49.